I'd like to introduce Rob Dixon, who is one of the district leaders in Decentraland and who is experienced with using the Gnosis wallet for multi-signature wallets. And he's giving us a little demo or tutorial today to help some of the district leaders learn how to use it properly.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Much
Great.
appreciated.
Yeah. So, okay, so we can just kind of start in. The idea, of course, is setting up a multi-signature wallet. I do have a document that I've done for an ICO that's coming out pretty soon. And what I will plan to do with this document is kind of sanitize it a bit, genericize it, and then I'll pass the link on to you guys.
Cool, awesome.
But in here, I've just kind of listed the process for setting up the multi-sig and how to use it. So I'll just kind of go through these steps today really quick. First, and this is something that should be done probably ahead of time, is everybody needs to have an address, an Ethereum address, to act as a signatory address. So there's various choices to make on this. You can use MetaMask or MyEtherWallet, any of those. You could also use a Ledger Nano or any Ledger wallet. This Gnosis wallet will recognize those addresses as well. Trezor and others that it hasn't supported yet, so it doesn't mean it won't. But at the moment, they're not supported. So there's pros and cons to each way of going. Obviously, one of the pros of the Ledger wallet is that it's more secure. You carry it around with you. The downside to that, of course, is you carry it around with you. So it can be lost. You can recover. There's a recovery phrase you can use to get those back. But it does have that downside. And if you don't have it with you and you need to be signing something, you know, if you go away for the weekend and somebody needs something signed, you wouldn't be able to do it if you didn't have your ledger with you. But it is much more secure. Something like MetaMask, while very convenient, is not as secure. If you're in your browser and you happen to surf to some malicious sites, they can get your Ethereum account information from MetaMask. And that's one of the ways people have been hacked very often, in fact.
Hey,
So
Rob.
Yeah.
Can I ask just a question about that?
Yeah.
It is my understanding that MetaMask won't conduct a transaction unless you approve its little dialogue that comes up. Is the issue with phishing that apps can bypass that somehow, or that you get fooled into approving something you thought was sanitary?
Yeah, it might be more of the latter. There's still some question about how the hackers are doing it. I actually had this happen to me last year. I lost about $150 of Ether because I'm always checking out different ICOs and things like this. And I happened to be logged in with MetaMask when I went to one that was kind of a scam ICO page. And the next day, all my Ether was gone. It was about $150 worth at the time. So not a complete disaster. I'm like, you know, the only strange place I went was to that ICO site, which turned out to be a scam. So they found a way.
You don't remember signing the MetaMask dialogue, so.
No, and in fact, I remember thinking, oh, you know, I was doing testing on the test network, and so I wasn't even logged into the main network through MetaMask. But that doesn't really save you, as I've learned since. They can get all of your addresses that are in MetaMask. And I'm not sure how they get past the signing part of it.
Okay. All right. Esteban once told me that when you're not actually using MetaMask, you should disable the plugin. Absolutely.
If you're logged out, they can't really get much from it. So as long as you're not logged in, you're pretty safe. But what I suggest is if you're doing things with MetaMask, and it probably is the same for my Ether wallet as well. If you're logged in with it, what I suggest is open a fresh browser, like open Chrome with nothing else going on, do your wallet transactions, like get into MetaMask, do your wallet transactions and get out.
Yeah.
And then go back to your, reopen it again for your regular browsing. But basically, don't do it while you're surfing other stuff. And and looking at news sites and things.
I want to ask one more question about Ledger now. I mean, you can defer it if you prefer, but I read somewhere on a website that Ledger's interaction with Gnosis is only works with the first address in the Ledger wallet. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know that, but I would believe that. That might be possible. You think they would be past that at this point, but.
So just some advice here is until we know better or know for sure that's not true, we probably should plan to use our Ledger wallet for real at the first time, or plan to buy another one. Or
I'm thinking of getting a spare, to be honest.
Can you reset a Ledger wallet and start over?
I believe so.
Okay, worth finding out. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, ledgers can be reset.
Okay.
Anytime.
Cool. Okay, yeah, so the first thing really is get that address, whether it's your Ledger or the other. The next thing is to get a version of the Gnosis Wallet app. I say that the easiest way to do it is just from the website. If you go to wallet.gnosis.pm, you basically have the wallet loaded in your browser at that point. So, get a version of it. There's also a downloadable version. So it's a downloadable, it just kind of wraps their web app into a little app you can download onto Mac, Windows, or Linux. You need to use the downloadable version if you're using the Ledger, because that's the only one that can connect to, the hardware basically and figure out that it's there. The web version doesn't work well with the Ledger. The downloadable doesn't work as well with, or doesn't work with MetaMask and those. So you kind of have a choice. If you want to use the web version, you also need to be using MetaMask or MyEther wallet.
Can you use, on the same multi-signature wallet, can you use both the downloadable one and the web one alternately?
You can. So there is a way, I mean, with the same address, I'm not sure. Basically, what we'll do is create a wallet, and then everyone will be able to import that wallet, so they all have access to it. So you're able to do that from multiple places, but in terms of where it's getting your address from, the signatory address, we'll have to see if one of their, like if their downloadable has a way to connect to, say, a MetaMask browser, and I haven't seen that in action yet.
Okay.
The downloadable,
really, I guess it's not an issue. It's really decide how are you signing, and you use the right version of it for how you're signing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so, again, that's one more reason why the downloadable with the Ledger wallet is more secure, because basically it's its own little sandbox. It's not connected to the rest of your browsers. Much harder for somebody to kind of reach in and mess around with the wallet stuff while you're doing it. Having said that, the whole point of the multi-sig is if one of us gets hacked, the other two can still do stuff or invalidate what the one's doing, that kind of thing. So hacking is a little bit less of a concern, but still important to worry about. Okay, so back to the instructions. So get a version of the wallet app. So the easiest is the web-based, and I'll just demo the web-based versions today. And then the next step is to create the multi-sig wallet itself. So this, one of us, depending on the, the project, can do it. Right now, I have myself logged in to MetaMask on the Ropsten test network. So we'll just go through the whole process here on the test with Funny Money Ether and set it up. And so it's a pretty easy web interface. Create a new wallet. It actually seems very lightweight compared to the seriousness of what this might be when we think of how much might get stored in here. At the time of setup, so we give it a name, obviously, this would be our project name or whatever. Now, having said that, there is a decision to make for our various districts and things like that. How many wallets do we want? In the ICOs I'm working on, they're very often, 3 to 6 different wallets. And they might be things for one wallet is going to be where the money comes in for the ICO, and then it's going to get transferred into different allocations. One's going to go for the employee and founder bonuses, and that's a separate wallet that's handled separately. Or another one that's going to be for business development group that's going to be giving these as incentives. You can also do these as, or separate, these are holding tokens, or this is holding, Ether. The Gnosis wallet can handle any ERC20 token as well in the balance. So, and in some of these districts, I suppose we might be collecting mana, for example, as transactional fees, or selling things and that kind of stuff. So there might be at a certain point different wallets going on here. One that's managing our land allocation, one that's managing any income from the thing. The choices there are basically coming down to, are the signatories always the same or not? And do you want to separate certain things to limit risk? So that if one wallet's one multi-sig wallet is compromised, you don't lose everything, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm imagining
I have a
say maximum 1,000 parcels or something in a wallet.
Question. Do you know for sure? I asked somebody in Dev the other day, what is the nature of the land token? And their answer was, it is an ERC20 that is ERC 721 compatible.
Okay.
I think that means that they can be put in here just fine because they're ERC20 compatible. Do you know if Gnosis Wallet has any special knowledge about NFTs?
No, it doesn't. Certainly doesn't at this point.
So the fact that it's ERC20 compatible will mean it'll show up here, but it'll just look like any other token.
It just look like any other token. So you wouldn't see any of the information about, who's the owner of that particular token or
coordinates or anything.
Attributes of that token.
You just see how many you have, probably.
Right. Whatever the is.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a quick question for you, Rob. Do you know if ENS domains are implemented into this yet, so that we can use a human readable domain instead of the 42-digit hex address?
Good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay, because I do have one for my district that I want to use as sort of the sub wallets for my district. So that would be kind of cool. Just easier on the eyes and stuff, for people that aren't as technical, maybe.
Right.
So
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny. I have, I've gotten pretty good at it from a technical point of view of like, okay, this account is my 07F, 0x7F account right now.
Right.
So that's 7F. But I actually ran into one the other day where I created a new account. I had a second one that was, matching in the first two numbers. I was like, oh no, that's going to be wrong.
So funny.
Yeah, so will happen.
It's happened to me too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a really good point.
All right.
Okay. So in here, we'll put in how many, let's say 2 confirmations, and we'll set up 3 people into this. Daily limit. So the daily limit requirement is, do you want a low limit? So this is setting a low number where somebody could actually transfer out this amount. One owner could transfer an amount without other approvals up to this limit during the day. So the idea is, I guess if this account were being used for petty cash or paying vendors or something like that, small amounts, you would say, okay, we trust all of us to, let's put 1 Ether here and anybody can spend up to an Ether, on some transaction today. Most of the time I've set this up, everybody has set this to 0 at the end of it after they thought it through. But those are in cases where there were some, these are like founders of ICOs where they didn't really trust each other at the end of the day to manage the money right. So, because when you think about the daily limit, somebody could take out an Ether a day and pretty much drain the account over the year, that kind of thing. So,
how low does that go? Does it go to like 0.1 Ether, maybe?
Yeah, you can.
Or is it?
You could go down really low. And then, I haven't really found a lot of uses for this aside from maybe if if you were doing an allocation that was going to go to one person managing one account, in effect, but you wanted, you know, like you're giving this to your human resources person because they're going to handle employee bonuses, but you don't want them to drain it all by themselves, but you do want them to be able to allocate some stuff during the day. So that would be where that fits in.
That's a really cool feature, actually.
Yeah, it does help. We could do it something, we'll put something like 1 in here now in case we want to test if that's working and things. And then adding owners. So right now, as the owner, it's putting me in there. It doesn't have to. I can actually set this up as the owner without me in it. I generally don't do that because, you know, when you're setting it up for other people, they don't necessarily know how to do the rest of the steps after this. So my usual thing has been I help set it up. I'm the 4th owner at the start. And once everybody's happy with it and we've tested it and everything is good, then I'll take myself out if I'm not one of the signatories. So we can add other people here. If you guys want to test this and you want to send me some addresses, we could do that right now.
Oh, that might be good because we can try stuff.
Sure, yeah, I'm game.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
I'll get one up.
Okay. We can also add this as we go. I think I need to put in at least 2 right now because I said 2 confirmations. And if I don't put in 2, I can't add more owners.
All right.
Since I'm recording my screen here, I think I won't be one of the participants.
Okay.
I'll just watch.
Good idea.
I can get. There must be a way I can get to the chat. There it is.
Yeah, where's the sorry? Where's the chat in here?
How do you get to it?
Rob, I'll send it to you on Discord. Is it cool if I DM
Yeah,
you?
I can.
Yeah, I've got Discord going over here.
Do direct Discords. That's probably safer. Yes. And it won't get all over the screen.
That's true. We are recording. Don't use. You guys just use fake accounts or whatever.
Yeah, I just made a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, and you will want to do something on the Ropsten test network. If you're not familiar with that, if you're in MetaMask, you can do this pull down that gets you to Ropsten.
Yeah.
And you'll probably need to really test it. You'll need a little bit of Ether in your account. So once you go to Ropsten, if you click buy in here, it'll get you to the test Ether faucet where you can just request 1 Ether from the faucet. And right there, you're getting some test Ether to mess around with. You'll need a little bit for gas transaction.
Cool.
Interesting. Does it take a minute for the Ether to hit? Oh, okay, there we go. Nice.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know if this was covered already because I jumped in a bit late, but thanks for doing this, Rob. This is awesome.
Yeah, no worries. I've just gone through this with other folks on other projects, so it's fresh in my mind.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely helpful, man. I appreciate it too.
Sure. Okay, are we good with those 3? Shall we?
Yeah.
Or anybody else post? Okay. And then deploy with factory is, did I change my name? No, it's my account. This actually is going to create its own new smart contract. So it basically goes through this process with the parameters that we set up, deploys a whole new smart contract that's only for our use.
When you test
nice.
this
So it's
on Ropsten and create that smart contract, does it create that contract on both networks, all networks, or only on Ropsten?
Only on Ropsten.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now it does stay there forever. So I've learned that by creating ERC20 tokens and then trying to, changing it and creating it again. It's like, oh, now whenever I try to pull it up, it's got there's like 3 different versions of my token out there now.
Yeah.
So there was a little transaction saying it's waiting basically for the Ropsten test network to finish transaction. I can look here, taking too long, so it's taking a little while. It could come back and say failed. If there was a lot of network traffic, it might say, oh, you know what, you need more gas to get through right now.
Recently, I've been bumping gas price up just a little bit on transactions in the MetaMask dialog, and I get a lot less failures.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much, just kind of
Knocking it up.
Yeah, just bump it. I'm talking about the gas price. Is what I used to bump up a little. Robson's not likely to time out here, I think.
I think it'll work, and their interface has been pretty good. It recognizes it when it's like it's polling network, waiting for it to happen. But this takes longer than usual. I'm surprised.
I've been mirroring this on a different set with 3 different addresses, and it's taking the same delay for me as well.
Okay.
While it's waiting, Rob, maybe I could just ask a question about managing the members of a wallet. I originally had the sense that to change the members, you had to transfer the assets to a new wallet, but I think I've heard that you can actually add and delete members. What's the rule about signatories enabling change, and how does that work?
It's pretty much the same rules as transferring things in and out. So adding an owner, removing an owner, or changing the number of confirmations that you need, that can all be done, but it has to conform to the rules you've already set.
Okay.
So right now we've said 2 out of 3 have to confirm anything. That would include adding a 4th owner or even removing one of the current ones.
So when you remove yourself as the 4th, you had to get one other person to agree for you to go away, huh?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Makes sense.
Yes, I guess they could lock you in. Sorry, you're a signatory forever.
So if you were locked in, but there's a liability connected to that. If, in the case of this, there's a liability connected to this land, and if you're like locked into that liability, how does that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Isn't this the problem that all the large financial institutions are having, this custodial risk problem? And that's why they're not diving headfirst into Bitcoin, crypto, and all this stuff. Because if they get hacked, they can't just replace that with digits in their system.
I bet it's one of many reasons.
That sounds like one of many reasons, like you're saying.
Yeah, so we're gonna have some trouble with this then. That's what I'm kind of inferring here.
Every step of the way, we learn new things here in Decentraland about risks and issues and mechanisms, limitations. Yep. It's very interesting. What a wonderful environment.
I know.
Hey man, I love creating solutions, so this is my kind of environment.
Right. There's lots of problems to solve, that's for sure.
Would you be able to assign a wallet to an entity rather than an individual and have that sort of look at yourself as a contractor for that entity? So rather than the wallet that they're using as a signatory in the multi-sig wallet, so if you got tied in, it wouldn't be your personal exposure. It would be the entity attached to that wallet.
Oh, right, like an LLC or some other corporation.
So maybe that might be the workaround for it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the hard part of that right now is that how do you prove that the wallet signing process was done by you, by an account as the LLC, as opposed to by an account by the person that signed it? That's easier in the world of banking stuff because you have documents and things you sign and you have KYC really on the surface. But it's an interesting question.
So I was imagining like you could have an event like a registered formal sort of a business event, which is the signing of the wallet, and that establishes those 3 people. the only way to deal with that, like, so there's no ambiguity, is that when someone wants to leave, the process is documented that you abandon that wallet and then you move to a new wallet and then you tear up the agreement of the previous one, and then you actually do it that way. Otherwise,
So
Yeah.
some sort of documentation of
Like someone used
kind
to
of
hold a
KYC
newspaper.
based signatures is probably the way to go on it.
Well, is there some sort of civic tie-in or something for identity? Being able to confirm that,
What kind of tie-in?
like a civic.
Oh,
So the-
civic identity.
Mhm.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard much. Did they come along and put anything together where you can actually do that?
Well, they're being used on InvestFeed right now. So if you've confirmed your civic account, then on InvestFeed it'll show a little civic logo next to your name.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm happy if Carl just holds. I'm
Let's
happy.
take one thing at a time here. Rob, what will happen if you cancel this and redo it? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I haven't had to do that before. So let me do this. I'll try to resend it with a higher gas price. And this is all funny money, so I don't really care. And let's see if that gets through.
Now they're both through.
Somehow they're both through. See if it's really true.
Maybe you have
So
two
if that did
contracts
happen-
in there now, huh?
Yeah, if they both went through, would that only create one and invalidate the other, or would it just create duplicates?
It's a good question. That's what we are learning as we go here on this one.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
It's looking to me like it didn't go through, or at least it didn't create the one it's expecting here. And the fact that, dropped, okay. The fact that Etherscan is saying it's resyncing right now makes me think Ropsten is having some issues at the moment.
Look at that second transaction again. It may just not have gotten there yet. No, that's the first one.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
the other
node
one.
resync in progress. Indexing will restart once the sync has been completed.
Oh.
So yeah, maybe the next CryptoKitties has hit on the test network or something.
There seems like there was about a dozen of them that popped up after CryptoKitties. So it's
Oh, a lot
possible.
more than that, yeah. I think because one of the projects I'm working on is a game like that, and we checked the other day on DApp Radar. 72 out of the top 100 DApps right now are these kind of games.
Jeez, man, we need to change it up a bit here.
That'll happen. That'll
CryptoKitties-
happen organically.
Yeah. It's like the way that they did it was they just changed the brand of CryptoKitties, you know? It's kind of cool, but...
Did, crypto puppies and those kinds of things. But there are some, there's like EtherQuest and EtherCraft are two that are kind of actual RPGs, kind of old school style, pixelated graphics.
RuneScape?
They're pretty interesting.
Like RuneScape style graphics?
Yeah.
Dude, I played that for 10 years. I'm actually excited for this. Hey, Rob, you said EtherQuest, and what was the second game?
EtherCraft was another one.
EtherCraft. Okay. I'm always interested in these because I think the gamers, the game creators are the ones that are really innovating here. So
Right.
I think they're fun to look at.
Yeah. CryptoBots is another one that's gotten. I was at the Game Developers Conference last week in San Francisco, and they had these huge billboards and trucks driving around with giant video walls on them, all for CryptoBots.
Oh man, their Facebook ads got terrible traction.
Yeah, but I think they took in something like $1 million in their first month. When they put that game out.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Why don't we just create a quick game real quick to fund our districts, man?
Oh.
Seriously.
I'm about it.
Dude, I thought CryptoBots was so terrible when I saw it, when I saw them advertising, and hearing that right now, anything's possible.
Yeah.
We're going to try again.
We're waiting. I'm just going to create a second one and see if we need something else here. Oops. Wait a minute. What happened there?
You want 2 in the field above that.
Yeah.
I think you hit cancel instead of add or something.
I must have.
I keep doing that.
Did yours go through, James?
No, I'm creating another one right now. I'm just doing exactly what you're doing.
If that doesn't do it.
You have a little number 1 by your, oh. You have a little one, your MetaMask has a little dialogue waiting.
There it is. Two, 5, and 21. Okay. This one I will reject.
What was that 4th one from?
That I rejected. I hit deploy twice.
Okay.
The chat window was obscuring my MetaMask one you were. There we go. We got it then.
Good.
Okay, well, that is interesting. I guess the others have gone into the ether, as it were, so they didn't actually happen. So here we have our test wallet. Here we've got a few things we can do. You can deposit into your test wallet to start some stuff off. You don't need confirmations for this. One person can do it. Anybody from the outside can do it just by sending. I can do it right now. You know, I'll put in 5 from my current account.
Where's that coming from? The signer account?
Yeah, right now it's from my logged in account.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Are you able to do that specifically because you're the owner? If somebody else came in on this wallet because they were invited and they have the access, could they add and it would add from their wallet?
Yeah, well, if they came into this, if they were able to load the wallet in, yes, I think they could do the deposit, but I don't think they would get to click through into the wallet or do anything else with it.
Okay, and but you could also pass out that address, and anybody can send tokens to that address. Okay,
you can send something to this address right here.
Now that is a contract address. Is that correct?
Right. It is a contract address.
There is an issue with sending tokens to a contract. If the contract doesn't know how to handle them, it loses them forever.
Right.
But I hope and assume that a Gnosis wallet can handle any ERC20 token being sent to it. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And so when I click through into the wallet now, at this point, I can see the details of it. I could add an owner here if I wanted to. Get this out of the way. My little window is obscuring. There we go. So here's our owners that we've got. Tokens, we can add one here. There's also a way to preload. There's like 20 that you can preload. But if we wanted to, we just put in, same as we would do in any other thing, or we put in mana or something like that here to add. I don't need anyone else to do that. I could just do that. And that's just to show if we have a balance in tokens in here. And then multi-sig transactions. So we would go into this interface, this kind of internal one, if we wanted to say, do some transaction that's not a standard, just send ether in and out or send tokens in and out. I could set that up here. Otherwise, right here, I'm able to do a withdraw. I guess once this other transaction goes through where I put money in. Boy, the network's really having fun today, isn't it? Actually, you know what? I can deposit again because I have enough in there. And we'll just try to make this happen faster. I can do a withdraw here, and so this is probably the easiest way to say, oh, okay, I'm going to pull some funds out of the wallet.
But that one's subject to the limit because you're doing that individually.
Yes, if I were doing it, what I could do here is if I only did less than one, then it's not going to ask for confirmations. It's just going to complete the transaction. If I did this greater than one, it's going to ask for, it's basically just going to create the transaction and say it needs confirmation. And then the other owners, or at least in this case, one other owner is going to have to get online, get into the wallet, and confirm that transaction in their interface.
That's the
Okay,
basic,
so,
that's the basic approach is that you have to let another owner know that they have to do something. They go into the wallet and they confirm a transaction.
Exactly.
Okay, so I would have to go into the wallet through Gnosis. It wouldn't pop up, like it wouldn't pop up as a transaction in my MetaMask automatically.
Right, you have to know to go into the Gnosis wallet. And
Okay.
unfortunately, there is no messaging mechanism here at all. So
Okay.
we have to have some other way of letting the other signatories know that there's something waiting.
And if they're all anonymous from each other, that's pretty challenging.
I'm happy there's no messaging mechanism, to be honest, because it's just another. It's just you know, it isn't that much of a burden if it's an important thing. So you would want to have like for example, I can imagine when we're doing a wallet signing that actually a video conferencing is appropriate because it's a good
right.
authentication. Yeah.
Do you guys think there's a way to create?
Sorry, I was going to say if the other guy's being held at gunpoint for their share of sort of wallet, then on a video conference you can see that at least. Although I don't know what you do. If I looked across and in the university someone's got Carl hostage for his university. I don't know what I would do.
You laugh, but that might actually happen.
I'm laughing. I know. You actually have to. We have got to actually have some reasonable security process involved.
By the way, this is one of the reasons I'm trying to not widely publish in plans and things who the signatories are, only who it is that appoints them.
Yes, I think that's a good, actually, a very vital thing.
Yeah. I guess while we wait for funds, we can. I can show you at least how the ownership changes could happen.
Okay.
Let me go I'll just get another address.
Sorry, Rob, before you do that, can we just walk through real quick how I would populate that wallet?
Sure.
In the browser?
Uh-huh. So you mean how you would fund it or how you would add owners and things?
Oh, no, just so how I would see it on my dashboard to be able to confirm a transaction.
Oh, right. Let's do that. Let's do that.
First person view.
So what you can do here, so basically this address, and let me post that somewhere so you guys can use it. The chat maybe? So 6D, that's the wallet address. when you add a wallet, you have create new wallet option or restore deployed wallet option.
Yeah.
So you would go and restore deployed wallet, give it your own name, which unfortunately it's not. Okay, our deposits have gone through, it looks like. And then put that address in here. That won't work because I already have it. But, and then it should show up.
Now, will it show up for anyone or just for the owners? Like, do you have to confirm your address as one of the ownership, or can anyone have a look at it?
That is a good question. Carl, do you want to try it since you're not an owner?
Oh,
And
sure.
sorry, does anyone know where the chat is in browser here? I'm not seeing
I
it.
think if you put your cursor down to the bottom, you get a window of things across the bottom, and if you click on that, you get a chat. Opens
Yeah,
up.
more. For me, it's a more ... and then there's chat under that.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I've got leave meeting, mute, raise hand, participants, invite. I've got an up arrow that's microphone and speakers.
Is it over to the right, separate from that bar?
I've got nothing. Invite participants, leave meeting, mute, and raise hand.
You don't have an account, do you, Dave?
You know what?
Well, here,
Maybe,
I have one
maybe,
either.
you know what? Maybe I don't have you entitled to chat. Hold on a second. I'm the host of the meeting.
Here you go. I posted it in
Thanks, Rob. Yeah.
there too.
All right, let me get a browser open here and see what I can do.
Okay, so I've got mine up and running, and I've got this wallet. I had a warning beside the Gnosis test wallet that said this wallet was created on a different chain, and then it went away.
Oh, okay.
Does that
Are
make
you on Robson?
So
Yeah,
that's, if you're not logged in under Ropsten, it'll say that.
Oh, I see. So it showed up for a second, registered that I was under Robson, and went away.
Probably,
Yeah,
right.
once
Okay.
you don't send your actual Ethereum.
What was the
Robson
wallet?
did.
What was the Gnosis URL? It was some funny domain.
Oh,
Wallet.gnosis.
Gnosis.pm.
Say that again, Rob.
Yeah, wallet.gnosis.m.
PM, like in post menopause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Not like the opposite of AM. That's where you went first.
Oh, it says don't use the wallet at this address to sign transactions. Use wallet only to check the status. Oh, interesting. Is that because
So is that
they might
is that
be,
their message saying you don't have access?
they,
Yeah,
they
is
might,
that
Rob?
yeah, they might be pushing you to download a version instead.
Okay.
Well, but Carl doesn't have access, right? So maybe that's their way of saying, hey, you can't actually confirm anything here. Or no?
Good. Maybe.
Can you read that warning one more time, Carl?
Oh, let me try going into it again. Hold on.
Okay.
Aha, somebody taking some ether?
No, I haven't done anything. I've just loaded it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Luke said he took some.
Oh, free ether, come on. I don't care if
Yeah.
I'm just in the
Well,
process of
it must
sending
have a
back.
cookie.
James, this does not bode well for us long term.
I am actually about to send it back anyway, though it's not real ether.
But that's actually a great demonstration because here on mine I haven't done anything and the values changed for me, so the balance went down and the limit went down. So good test.
Did somebody actually take some out? Is that what happened?
Yep. And
Yeah.
here is the list when we drive in. So
The I can go in and I can see that there are 3 owners and what their addresses are. I can see that it has no balance on any of about 20 tokens. I can see that it has 10 ethers. I can see that there are 2 one transaction should transfer a tenth of an ether to x86, which is in fact the third owner.
Mhm.
The owner's names are not shown to me. It says owner
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
That's good.
And interesting. Multi-sig transaction. I have an add button. Send
So
a transaction. I can send a transaction to the wallet, which makes sense.
Okay.
Um,
Can you do a deposit on that first in that first view?
pending add. I don't see a view here. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's an easy way to add to it. But if I have the address, so I can simply send to it. But I don't see a UI for it now.
Okay.
And so I can see my account, but I can't see the names of Luke or you, Rob. Like they aren't named when I look at the owners.
Okay. Interesting. So those are just kind of friendly names for your own use.
Yeah, and I'm able to rename the test wallet to whatever I want as well. So it looks like you can customize it to whatever you like.
I'm going to open up the Gnosis URL in Firefox, which won't have that cookie. And I'll tell you what the
What it
warning
looks
is.
like. Okay. While we're doing that, I'll go ahead and we'll do a multi-sig transaction here. I really need 2 ether. I buy some. Baby needs a new pair of shoes. Big transaction. Just get this up high. So this will be over the limit. So it should then, it won't actually do this yet. What it will do is eventually, when this gets mined, it'll show up in this multi-sig transactions list as, so-and-so created this transaction, needs confirmation. So again, we just have to wait for that to happen. Looks like it has.
I still just see Luke's.
Okay, there it is. Multi-sig transaction was mined. So okay, transfer
there it is.
my account, which is a 7F account. On my screen, I just see revoke confirmation. Like if I did this and I didn't mean to, I could take it back before you guys see it.
If you revoke it, does it disappear or does it stay there for me? And like, let's say me and Luke were to confirm it then. So is it just revoking your confirmation or is it terminating the transaction entirely?
I think once you guys have, at least in this case, once one of you confirms it, this will go away. I won't have this option to revoke it anymore.
Okay, but what I'm saying is like, if you revoke it now,
right.
Will it, like, I'm wondering if it'll remain my option to confirm it and Luke's.
No, I think that would go away too.
Okay. Okay.
There would still be a record of it here. Because it did actually write to the blockchain that I requested this transaction.
Okay.
Confirmation written.
I'm having an issue confirming the transaction. I've got the modal confirmed transaction, but it's it comes up. I hit that, but I then just get the little modal with confirmed transaction. So it seems to be stuck in some sort of loop.
Do you see send transaction?
Yeah, so I hit send transaction. It takes me to configure gas. I got my gas limits there. So I then hit send transaction, and then it takes me back to confirm transaction.
Oh, mine opened up my MetaMask.
Oh, I see. That's what's happening. It's not.
So I just hit submit, and I just confirmed it.
I got you. Right, that's what it is. It's not showing me the. It wasn't pulling up my MetaMask. It was just popping up a little bubble.
Yeah, sometimes it does that. It gets in a mode like that. I'm not sure when that happens, but
so I've confirmed it. I've confirmed it, and I still see my option to confirm in the menu here. Okay. But it does look like but it is going through. It looks like that transaction is going through, like in my MetaMask.
Okay. It's probably waiting again for the network.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still see revoke confirmation.
Okay, yeah, and I've still got the confirm option.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
So
they
there
should
is,
up the
yeah, there's a transactions tab as well, which is pretty much kind of the audit trail of everything that's gone on. I think these only, yeah, this is showing mined yes or no. So it is showing, that's interesting, the first one that never went through, it does show that we tried to create one and it never happened.
Rob, what does nonce mean?
Yeah, nonce is like a random number seed, basically, that's used for the next transaction. I'm not sure in this, it's something that's generated like, you know, as each block is mined, there's a new nonce generated for the next block that the next miner has to deal with.
Okay.
So in this case, I'm not sure exactly how they're using nonce. Seems in these cases, it seems just more like a, you know, transaction ID, like serialized 1, 2, 3, 4.
I have that dialogue. I will keep it around and post it somewhere later, but I can read it right now. When you go to Gnosis for the first time on the web, it says important notice: don't use the wallet hosted at this URL I just went to .pm to sign transactions. Use, again, the same URL only to check the status of your wallet. Use a locally installed version for signing.
Right.
A version can be installed here with a link obtained here. All smart contracts have been audited carefully multiple times. However, all contracts are without any warranty, without even implied warranty of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Use it at your own risk. I confirm the terms and conditions. Button.
Yeah.
So they're saying that what we were just doing was something you would want to not do on the real network for real. They're saying the app is the only safe way to do it.
Right. I think if you're going to use the browser version, again, do what we suggested at the start, which is, you know, close out your browser, launch it again, fresh, only do this, and then get out.
Even
You
if
know,
it's even the same type of browser. So if you're doing stuff in Chrome, you want to do something, close all your Chrome windows, open up Chrome, log into MetaMask, do your thing, log out of MetaMask, close the browser,
Yep.
reopen it to do other stuff.
Reopen it.
And if you want to go far enough, you actually even disable the plugin.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So it's I've been guessing it failing. It's been a bit sort of I think maybe I'm having maybe the test network was struggling with both of us trying to.
Yeah, I think so. This transfer fit did finally go through. So
And it looks like Luke confirmed it rather than me. So Luke, did you confirm it after I did? Or no, you did it before, right? But you said it wasn't working properly.
Yeah, it would have
MetaMask
been.
wasn't popping up.
Yeah, I confirmed it using the MetaMask shortly after you.
Weird, because mine's still plugging away at it. I must have not put a high enough gas price on.
Hey,
Yeah,
Rob,
gas price over 20 seems to be working.
Rob,
Okay.
do you know where in the web UI you can get to the link for downloading the real wallet, the installable wallet? I don't see it.
Yeah, there is a different one. Let me see. I think I have it in this doc.
I have the link from that. I might be able to.
Yeah, this one, wallet-website Gnosis PM. They're not great with their URL naming. Oh no, that's changed now too. So that's going there.
I think it was right. I got it from their GitHub. Like I downloaded it.
Yeah, you can download it from there. Interesting. Their website just goes to their GitHub now.
Yeah, that was where I found it. Here, I'll fire it to you, Carl.
I have the URL. I'm just trying to put it in the chat for everybody. Let's see. To everyone, send. Okay. I've just sent in the local chat here in the Zoom the link that is on that pop-up dialog you get the first time you go there. And it is, in fact, GitHub Gnosis.
Okay. They used to have a nice customer-facing website that had download links for Mac and Windows and everything like that. So that's interesting that they just now forward it.
I'm wondering if, like, it sounds like they're trying to insulate themselves from people that don't know what they're doing downloading this thing. Like, there's a lot of warnings that pop up and whatnot.
Might be. Yeah, they had a big web page where they're saying, you know, basically $2-something billion held in these wallets now, you know, approved by all of these ICOs.
Yeah, they decided that wasn't a good idea.
Probably
Maybe
wasn't a
parody scared them.
yeah, I'm going to guess probably somebody lost some money and they realized they had some liability. Which they really shouldn't. I mean, it's a tool, right? So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the so that's the gist of it. Aside from that, you know, the settings. There are ways to customize this. There's if you're doing this in the other way, you can use the Ledger wallet here in the settings. Say this is how I'm going to be signing. I have tried this with this web version, and it doesn't pick up the Ledger wallet, or at least it didn't when in my tests. But the downloadable version did. So.
I have a question. But before I do ask it, what is the remote node thing on that pull down that you had?
On the pull down, a remote node would be if you were running some other way. So maybe something like Infura.io, which is a service provider that hosts like its own guest Ethereum nodes. There might be ways to configure that. We also did this once, I think, just to tap into like your own running guest node. So if you're like a miner for Ethereum.
So it's like a Gnosis API mechanism for connecting other things into it.
Yeah.
My question was, can you use a multi-signature wallet or a contract to supply a signature to a Gnosis wallet?
It's a good question. Yeah.
Kind of like a nesting or a chaining.
Right.
The reason I ask is because there's been some discussions about having a vote on some voting dApp supply a signature on a multi-signature wallet.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Do you know if you could put as one of the signers the contract address of another Gnosis wallet?
I haven't tried that. That would be interesting. I'm not sure how the interface would work to generate that signing. I guess you could do it with one of these kind of create multi-sig transaction options. Send a multi-sig transaction, it says. Like add one here, we can get a little more detail. We actually have to create the ABI of the contract we're going for. So I suppose you could do something there if you could figure out the right way to interface with the wallet, the Gnosis wallet.
Yeah, you don't think it would work to simply have two people sign one wallet, and that wallet is doing is signing a transaction request from a downstream wallet.
From another wallet. Yeah. There's probably a way to make it work. In the end, this Gnosis wallet is a smart contract that's out there and has an interface, and there's probably a way to do that.
You can look at that contract just simply using the contract name that you have here.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
And in that GitHub is all the source code.
Yep.
So you can actually go and inspect that and see what's there. I don't know if they're publishing the ABI, but you can get that from the contract, on Etherscan. So there's probably a way to do it, but it wouldn't be, I don't think it's an easy way in the interface, but we could figure it out.
Yep. For another time. I was wondering if before we wrap this up, if anybody else has questions, or Rob, if you had anything else you wanted to add.
I got a question in case anyone knows. Is there any benefit to running an Ethereum node as district leaders to what we're doing?
Yeah, I don't know if there is. You know, it's a big, these days it takes a lot of computer resources to run one. So you kind of have to run it all the time, or else it gets out of sync, and then maybe there's a downside if you're not in sync. But if you already had like a mining machine going, there's no reason you couldn't be hooking into that. But if you're not mining, full time already, I probably wouldn't recommend it.
Well, I was wondering if there was any potential benefit for all of us as district leaders to sort of have like a Ethereum node that's dedicated to us. I don't know what the benefits of nodes are, so I'm just kind of throwing it out there as something creative that maybe it's beneficial that we can collaborate on.
Right. I mean, it is. One of the benefits of the node is that things go faster for you. Like MetaMask is basically running its own node on its servers and interfacing through the web, between what you're doing and its own servers. So you've got all that back and forth stuff. If you had your own node, you wouldn't have that. But only for your local stuff. Like if we were all hooking into it, then somebody would be remote. So.
Yeah.
Another thing we will want to explore some point, it's kind of off topic here, is whether running an IPFS node somewhere provides some performance and improvements.
Right. Yeah, that in fact is probably more to the point, I would say, when we're talking about DCL and content and viewing our lands and that kind of thing. Running IPFS nodes and finding a way to speed that process up would be really interesting.
Well, I'm in the process of setting VRS district up, and I'm going to be talking to investors very soon here. So that's the kind of thing that I might be able to build into VRS, and especially because VRS is aiming to sort of support the other districts and amplify their effects. That's something that I can certainly talk to investors about, and that would actually be a value add to my own project. So it'd help everyone else out at the same time.
Yeah.
Rob, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was a little more terrified of this than I think was maybe justified. I was under the impression that this wallet allowed you to sort of program in like direct deposits and your own smart contract rules that would trigger certain events. Is there a feature on this wallet that will allow you to do that? Or is it all very manual, in-out confirmation type things like we did?
Yeah, I mean, this is the crux of it, what we went through. So contracts are open source and they're out there. We actually did for one project, another engineer and I, we coded our own like additions to it and then deployed our own. So it is possible. But at the end of the day, we're like, this was useful, but at the same time, we probably broke the integrity somewhat by changing the code.
Okay. So I guess the one of the big use cases for this wallet in particular is going to be holding the district land, but also giving edit privileges to contractors or developers that need sort of temporary access to it.
No, I don't think that's.
I think we can avoid that.
Yeah, Esteban has made a delegation mechanism that is off-chain.
Oh, okay, cool. I wasn't aware of that.
It hasn't been released yet, but it will allow the owner of the land to say this other person has upload rights, and now they don't anymore.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
So that won't be for a tenant or a subcontractor.
All right, wicked.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sort of answers.
I think it intervenes actually at the IPNS or IPFS node. It doesn't actually write to the land contract. It changes the IPNS pointer that the land owns.
Yeah, it's the
okay.
I think the land points to the IPNS, and then basically, whoever holds the IPNS account can then switch the source of the actual sort of data, the objects,
The content that's on there.
Yeah.
And obviously, if that got into rogue hands, then that's when you need to get into back into the multisig to then change the IPNS point. That's what I understand from.
Okay, so if that were to happen, we would still have the ability to switch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
But what I'm hoping for is that basically when this goes live, we can effectively lock our land away in a safety deposit box, and then just have a procedure once every 6 months to, just do a check basically that the actual wallet is intact, and you've not got to like get a new hardware on or whatever. I'm imagining that type of situation is ideally what we would want. Especially Ethereum and Vegas and so on, where
it's going to be really valuable at some point.
We shouldn't be having these lying around at home.
Yeah,
definitely, that makes sense. Perfect. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I've got to dash off now, but thank you ever so much, Rob. That's been much appreciated and enlightening.
Yeah. Again, it's not as intimidating as I thought when I started this too. So it's. Not
doing these kinds of things together, like walking through it together, is always helpful.
Right, and then bigger decisions are going to be like how many wallets are needed and that kind of thing.
Definitely, that makes sense.
It is my intention to work this into a little tutorial that we can share with other district leaders. Rob, I'll take out the pop-up you had from Skype. Anything else anybody else said or did that they can think of they wished wasn't in a public version of this?
No.
No, I'm good.
Everybody's good with the addresses that show in here as being something that you set up temporarily or you don't care about?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, these are temporary.
Okay.
Mine.
All righty. Thanks,
All
Rob.
right.
Very much. Really helpful.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. I'm going to get cheers, guys. Have a good one. Eh?
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.